podcast excellence since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts radio network, kingofpodcasts.com.
Poor Bonnie Blue, when OnlyFans breaks up with you.
We're all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the King of Podcasts.
I'm going to make this very clear. Bonnie Blue is an attention whore. What is it about you, Bonnie? You make me have to go and talk about you on this program. This is the third episode in the last 4 weeks I have to bring you up. You are constantly in my Google News feed. You're inescapable. What is it about you? And part of it is, yes, I keep getting good numbers every time I talk about you. It's obvious. I mean, I can't even tell you how much I see on my audio feed. Like, what a major bump in numbers that I have talking about you. But I don't want to keep doing that. This is not my normal thing. But when things get interesting, I can't help myself. So really, let's just recollect a little bit of what we already got so far. Okay. I go back to Lily Phillips we talked about on December 18th. That was going a while back. And then I brought up Bonnie Blue on January 15th because she successfully, she said, had sex with 1,057 men in 12 hours. 2 weeks later, we get a story about her showing her bruises and that the video that she had put up on OnlyFans was removed. And now the ultimate result, her page has been taken down completely. Her profile is out. So we know that, first of all, we had a follow-up from last week. The evidence of Bonnie Blue's record and her 12-hour relationships with more than 1,000 men deleted. And I don't know if she ever put it up anywhere else. I have not been looking for it. So she was hoping to go make a fortune off the sex stunt, the gangbang, if you will. So the video was removed from the 25-year-old subscription site after it was reportedly said that OnlyFans said the X-rated clip broke its rules. And a spokesperson talked to Mail Online saying that OnlyFans is a platform designed for creators who have completed our comprehensive onboarding process and choose to monetize their content. And that OnlyFans, to keep the community safe, must be able to verify age, identity, and consent of all parties appearing in explicit content on OnlyFans. We do not allow a large number of OnlyFans creators to appear on an account, even when release forms have been provided, it added. So no matter what her team did, they were not able to get this put online. Now, it doesn't mean that she can't get this out somewhere else, other way. But I don't know if anybody's been out there looking to go ahead and, buy her content. I don't know if she's pitched a video to Vivid or somewhere else. They always want to go keep their control of the content. Now, she shot the video in a $30,000 mansion famous for hosting illegal sex parties. And social media is going after her right now because her shocking sex trick was in vain because she can't make money from it. One person on Facebook wrote, "Imagine doing all that work for nothing." Another one saying, "What an anticlimax." And other social media users putting out that no one has seen the video and asked, "Was it something that really happened? Until I see the video, it didn't happen." Another one saying, "It hasn't been banned, it just doesn't exist." So now there's skepticism that she actually even did the stunt. Now, we all talk about the fact that there was no way for her able to go and be able to do this in 12 hours. But she doubled down, saying that the figures were correct. And then she also had corroborating testimony from an unemployed security guard named Ali Walker, admitted he was in line for the sex session, ended up backing out after feeling discouraged by the fact that participants did not have individual time with Blue. And another video was showing about a concerned mother pulling her 19-year-old son out of the queue, which also seems to back up Blue's claim that the sex marathon was actually happening. The mystery of the world record footage is also it's disappeared from YouTube. There were reports about how the video had a large room full of condoms, paper towels, and disposable blue balaclavas worn by the male participants were completely erased from Blue's own account. Now, there's more to the story that has been brought out. I'm going to take from HypeFresh. They have the full story now, and they've kind of been taking a timeline as to what's been going on so far. So what she specifically got banned for altogether from OnlyFans was age and identity verification. So OnlyFans demands ironclad verification for everyone and explicit content. It was impossible to go ahead and vet and verify age limits. Community standards, even for their site, certain acts and extreme content risk, pushing platforms into the regulatory danger zone. And then because of other issues with mainstream scrutiny, which you remember Bella Thorne's scam backlash. Remember we talked about that years ago. Or the issues with MasterCard payments. OnlyFans wants to keep their business model stable. So her work is only disrupting their business. So she's no good for OnlyFans, out. Now, there are other creators that could go ahead and that have left OnlyFans or have been banned from OnlyFans. They could go somewhere else. So where she could go are two sites like Fansly or Pocket Stars. She could also try to get her content pushed on Pornhub or independent websites. She could put her own website up and put it up there as well. And, find a way to go and get CC Bill or some other payment agency to go ahead and take payments for her to go and show the content. I don't know why she decided to go and keep it on OnlyFans. When you're doing something this big, her team should have known she wasn't going to be able to keep that content up on that website. It wasn't going to happen. But it's because of those OnlyFans and because of the traffic, they figured let's going to do that. But at least maybe this was the desired effect. Maybe this is what her team wanted, was to be able to go and try to get this put on OnlyFans, only for the fact that it was going to get banned. And then everybody could say, well, it was on OnlyFans, it was banned. She got the press. So now the next thing she could do is, okay, I'm hosting on my own website. Or somebody else's. And it's all done. I mean, the other question is, I don't know how much she was going to go and get charged for it. Or she was going to charge for it. I don't even know what that price was going to be. But she's too big for OnlyFans. She's too controversial for OnlyFans. And now she can't get back on there. And the thing was that she could have done something more influencer friendly, something more mainstream, softcore fitness and lifestyle, modeling, bikini pictures, all that kind of stuff. But the thing was, they're saying in this article here is that her ban is a sign of what can be coming for other edgy creators if that's the case. So what might be the good thing that comes out of this is that Bonnie Blue might have just broken the trend. Because now women like Lily Phillips cannot put this content. They can't go ahead and move forward with this gangbang without knowing the repercussions. She's not going to be able to post it on OnlyFans. It's impossible. And why are you going to go through the trouble of trying to go and age verify and all that? Not because you shouldn't. I mean, if you're going to be stupid enough to do it, you might as well go and find out if everyone's tested. Find out if they're above age. They're of consent. And know who they are. I mean, you want to be able to go and do a background check on these people before you let them into your crotch. But I don't know. What it comes down to is now these two girls have to go and figure out where they're going to put this content anywhere else. But if this is going to dissuade other women from going this far and pushing the envelope, they would have to go back to traditional porn if they're going to do it. Traditional adult content, and I don't know if they're going to do that or not. It's probably not going to be their choice. That's a good thing they're going to say. But while this is going to go ahead and make other women go against the idea of this, it doesn't mean that these two girls are not going to try to do things more themselves. Daily Mail talks about this. And they interviewed a 32-year-old adult video model, Katie Brampton from North Wales. And that she started an explicit video with Bonnie Blue, but now she's celibate. And that Bonnie needs to quit trying to do these stunts because it will leave negative energy embedded in her pelvis. Now, Katie grew up in North Wales. She now lives in Thailand. And at the end of 2023, she performed in a sex video alongside Bonnie Blue. And she fears that the stunt that she put herself through is going to go bad for her. So she says, having sex with over 1,000 strangers, it'll create a massive disconnect between her mental well-being and her body. The trauma and negative energy from this will become embedded in her, particularly in the tissues around her pelvis. And that she'll realize the impact this has had on her, so with feelings of self-worth, her confidence, her ability to maintain a meaningful relationship. And I want her to know I'll be there for her when that happens. I can help her heal. So Katie earned six-figure income from her adult videos, but just over a year ago, she wanted to leave and start a well-being business to help women overcome sexual trauma and achieve real, meaningful relationships and orgasms. Now, she goes on to say that apart from her well-being for Bonnie, I'm really worried about the message this will send to other young people out there about sex, especially young girls who are thinking about doing OnlyFans videos to make what they seem will be easy money. Converted porn star now wants to go ahead and try to reverse the trend of women trying to go ahead and get themselves involved in OnlyFans. Quote, sex with a stranger can lead to depression, anxiety, your body and nervous system becoming broken and frazzled. It can lead to a fear of intimacy, not knowing who you really are. Now let's hold on to that quote right there. Because we already know there's already a random thing now of women that will just have random sex or situationships. And because of the fact that there are women that are out there just doing that, let's get away from the whole sex stunt thing. Let's just talk about sex that doesn't mean anything. When you're disconnected from that sex, with that stranger, being depressed, anxious, your value, your self-worth diminishes. For how many young women are out there that I've been watching on my TikTok feed that talk about how they're just unhappy. They feel like they can't find any guys out there. But what they don't tell you in those videos are what kind of guys they've been trying to attract. They're young, beautiful women, but they don't tell you, the status or what kind of filter are they putting on for some of the guys that you're interested in. Now, of course, I'm not saying they're going to need to go look in their friend zone and they're going to find somebody. No. But I think that what you are going to find out about them is that they might not realize that the kind of guys that they're looking for, they feel like because of their beauty, because of their status, that they're supposed to find someone of equal status. But what they also don't know is when some of these guys of the 1% that a lot of these young, beautiful women are trying to go ahead and go after, they might not know they're going after the same guys. And they're probably not aware of how few of those kind of guys are out there and how many more guys like me are out there. Because there are plenty of guys like me that are, we've been put to the friend zone. We've been made to be called creeps. We've been made to go and say, well, you can't go and approach anybody. And we've been put down upon as a result. And I don't want to go and deal with that either because I got tired of that. I got tired of chasing who I wanted to go after. And the rejections was one thing, but the manipulation, the narcissism, the runaround, the simping that I was made to do because I was trying to go after who I was going after. And so, like I said, I've sworn that all off for a long time. But I'm still at the point where I still feel bad for some of these girls and what they're doing with themselves for attention and sex for nothing. Because it is one thing that Katie is saying right here that's absolutely true. Because in the prime of these women's youth and beauty, they are getting themselves into whatever situations, whatever adventure they want, because it's almost a complete detachment of being grounded and being established and stable in what you're doing. And there's so much of that. And this is something that she says here that is gospel. Quote, OnlyFans has created this massive industry which simply didn't exist before. Well, it was porn. Let's be clear about that. We did have porn and people could still do that. And there were still people that can go ahead and create videos and post them on different sites. There's many vids. There's I want clips. There's clips for sale. There's loyal fans, I think it is. Yeah, there's a lot of those different pages. If you want to go and find clips, you can. For plus size models, it's Curvage or it's Phoebe. Like I'm just saying, it's out there. Yes, I know what these sites are. I'm not going to say I don't, okay? I do. Sorry. But anyways, she makes the point here that there are hundreds of women that did make a lot of money from the site, but lost sight of who they are. Talk about objectification of women by doing that. But that's on their own, which is this independent thinking. This independent thinking of like, well, I'm going to do what I want and I'm going to expect what I want. Because there are going to be things of material value that I'm going to cherish. So it's more important about what you get what your beauty gets you than how your beauty is valued. I think she makes a great point here. And I'm glad it's a woman actually saying this, because then I could just go ahead and follow along and just reemphasize and reinforce the fact she's making. And she makes also the point, women doing the videos like these are getting younger and younger, and they don't know what they're getting themselves into. But this is the part where I also know and very aware of, but with young women, you're not going to change their minds. Which is why it's more important that some young women out here, if they are down a path of whatever kind of trauma they went through, whatever kind of issues they have never overcome and never addressed. There's a reason why girls will go to these sites and go this direction. If they feel like they need to go and make extra money or some discretionary income, or they're on their own and they feel like they're struggling and they can't just take the regular grind like everybody else. I'm going to use my body to do something about it, right? I mean, before we had all this, of course, we had strippers. We had people can open up like salons or whatever you want, or go out there and sell their body on the street. But because things are happening where discretion and safety barriers, supposedly, they're going to make it easier for a girl to go ahead and get themselves caught up in this. Because you are playing to the laziest common denominator of women that decided to go on to OnlyFans around the pandemic time and lockdown and say, well, I can't make money right now. I can't go out. I can't flaunt my body. I can't get things from guys. I can't go out and travel. So I'm going to use my body to make some money off of it. And then I can go ahead and, if I can't get anybody to buy anything for me, then I'll just go and buy stuff myself. The TikTok generation of influencers. Well, there was a small little percentage of those that decided not just to go into influencing. They're going to use their body for something more. They're going to OnlyFans it. And we talked about this for years. You're not going to stop any girls from doing it, but you could just say, listen, you have to cut off what happens beforehand and figure out what there is. She also goes on to talk about the competition that Bonnie Blue's having with Lily Phillips. Quote, Bonnie always seemed to me very balanced, grounded with it, and I'm so worried about her now. This competition she started with Lily Phillips is sending out the wrong messages. I simply can't imagine that having sex with over 1,000 men back to back can have been enjoyable. Now, she's already slept over 75 partners. That's her body count, male and female. And she was friends with the majority of them beforehand. So she didn't go the route of the stuff at OnlyFans. She says, quote, there was almost always some friendship there to start with, some degree of trust, and a relationship of sorts. But towards the end, I just didn't want any more. I craved meaningful sex, a family, and all that stuff. You don't envision, this is spelled wrong, Daily Mail. Envision wanting when you're younger. The whole OnlyFans world is so fake. Women faking orgasms, everyone faking being happy. I just wanted out. At that time, you were what? 27, 28? Things changed. And her career and her time, she left for the UK for France at the age of 18, and she was a personal trainer. Then she moved to Australia in 2018 and focused on her sports, and she was becoming a professional CrossFit athlete. And then in 2021, she was a nursery worker. And while babysitting for a couple, she was invited to for a swingers party. And she met an Australian porn star named Robbie Oz. They became a couple and got married. And then she was going to drug-fueled swinging parties, started acting the videos herself, and she didn't know how she just turned around and became what was originally a kindergarten worker to become a porn star, but at the same time, it felt like a blast, the best time ever. They became a celebrity sex couple. They raised over 50,000 pounds from the racy videos, which is what? 40,000 a month, roughly for US dollars, and had close to 100,000 social media followers. And then she crossed paths with Bonnie Blue. And then they worked on a video together, went for drinks a few times, swapped numbers, kept in touch. And then it was after she made the X-rated video with Bonnie that she had an epiphany. And she decided to just drop everything and leave. Drop Robbie, drop the marriage, drop everything. So she decided to go through, cleanse and heal her body from all previous sexual interactions. She used breath works and Pilates, and also used yoni streaming, which is an ancient Egyptian practice where you boil water with herbs to cleanse your vagina. And she wanted a completely fresh start inside and out. And also used traditional Thai medicine and the help of a shaman. She meditated and refocused on her past. So now, again, she's in Thailand. Just changed everything. And now she feels like she's a better person. And she got herself completely removed of all that was going on. Amazing. Now she has a school of sensuality where women can build relationships with themselves and their bodies. So she's using it for good. But that's one example of the other women that are not going to probably go through all what she went through, and maybe she found herself a sensible way. The damage is still done. I mean, she can never live past what she did as a porn star, married to a porn star, and doing videos and doing content. Like herself, she's going to be out there for the world to see. And there will be plenty of young guys that will want to get off, and they will find one of her videos and they will put it into their spank bank. That's just it. So she can feel better about that. But again, she had to move away from everything. No Australia, no UK. She went to Thailand, completely removed herself because she feels like that's what she needs to go and do for herself. And to create some retreat atmosphere for herself, online workshops, couples retreat, all that stuff. Well, she found a way to go ahead and live her life in a certain way, but she had to remove herself and she had to be completely separated. So the one thing I can give her credit for is that she just decided to go ahead and cut cold turkey. She was able to get out of the addiction. Completely gone. And it's a similar story where she went through, and I talked about the story with Bonnie Blue about what she went through to try to say, well, why am I doing this anyway? Because she was married, or she was with a boyfriend, and she had a good career, and decided just to change everything. Something just snapped in her, and she decided to go and do something else. Now, another thing she's saying, and I'm guessing this is shock value, U.S. Sun's talking about this, that she was happy to risk getting HIV in the name of her job. I don't get what that's all story about, but she actually said that, and I don't know what she's thinking, but okay.
First guy did go in raw.
Number 1 out of 1,057 went in raw. Like, I'm bent over. At this point, I had 6 other guys in front of me. My hands are busy, my mouth's busy. And then I just turn around. I'm like, wait, you're not wrapped up. But yeah, I think when you're in the moment, from the guy's perspective, and they're getting excited, they just sort of forget, which is completely normal. And most of them never usually wear condoms. So it's not an instant, I'm about to go inside, let me wrap up.
Now, let me just ask this as well. Does anybody want to go ahead and talk to the other 1,056 guys that, first of all, she didn't care if she got HIV. She didn't care about wrapping up or protecting herself. What about all those guys? Did they sign up to get Hep 2 or Hep C or whatever? Do you think they were happy to go and know that they were going to probably catch something off of her because the first guy decided not to wrap? That's the other problem too. How many of those guys that were not tested or might have had something on them, some kind of sexually transmitted disease, and would have left it in her? And the next guy that would have inserted would have gotten something off of that. Which is like germs. Could have very well happened. So she's having to go and say that she did do that. This was not thought out well. And I still am under the impression, I don't know if this can be true, but again, everybody's talking about it. But my reason for talking about it is kind of what Katie Brampton was just saying that I talked about in the previous article. I hope women are paying attention to this in so many different ways. From the biggest point of, okay, you go on OnlyFans, you decide to go ahead and you're going to have sex with multiple guys or multiple partners, whatever it is, without any concern or safety measures to make sure you're going to be okay. Doesn't matter. Then the other part is that the self-worth, your lack of value, being depressed, being anxious, you're just adding on to something that you were already probably depressed and anxious about in the first place. Why are you going to subject yourself to something like that and just throw yourself at somebody because you might get something out of it. You might get some material trinket from it. And what good will that do for you? When women are not allowed to go ahead and feel love, this is something that's not being considered. Okay, obviously, feminism in certain ways, I've understood the healthiness of it, and where women will go and come across and feel like the independence they want, the empowerment that they want. Sure, I'm not here to go ahead and take away from anything like that. But the problem is that how some of the women have received the message and how they're using the message. How they're just deciding, well, I'm going to live my life based on what I heard. Because it's obvious some women with feminism, it's very emotional and it's very uncontrolled. And it's a shame. Well, no, there's quite a few women that don't go through this. Let's make this clear. But we're talking about the girls that are not standing on the ground. They're not in a relationship. They're not steadfast in their career or what they're doing. When they don't have someone to love at a young age. And then what happens? The reactions they could have to it. The impulse reactions they might go and do, or decisions they'll make. The choices that they make that will make things ultimately bad. And it's upon guys, at the same time, they got to be paying attention. You can't mess with the girls at this young an age, so impressionable. And I'm talking about what? Teens and 20s, up to the early 30s. There's a fragility with some of these women. They're not going to say it is, but I think their hearts can be fragile. And at this point, depending on what they've gone through, if they are in a fragile state and they feel like materialism is going on, listen, guys, the red flags are out there. You do not want to deal with a woman that thinks, well, a coffee date's no good. We got to go out and do this. We got to go out and do this. You got to get me this. I expect a particular type of generosity from you. Those are completely useless red flags that you don't want to be a part of. You got to stay away from that. And hopefully you have learned your lesson on how to date so that you're not getting yourself caught up in the idea that you need to go ahead and comply just to be with her. You don't want to simp. But then also when you're younger, you also don't want to go and screw things up when you get the chance to find a girl that will give you that chance to go and be with them. Do right by them as much as you can. Do not react. Don't take any feelings of like your own femininity that you're going to scream, you're going to yell at her, and you're going to try to control her because you feel like you can't find anybody else. That you're in your own way, your value is done. Like you can't do any better. You found a girl that you feel like might be out of your league and you think you're going to lose her. So you have to go through some drastic measures to try to keep her. You're going to manipulate, mind fuck with her, thinking you're going to go and hold on to her, which never works. You might hold on to her for longer, but look what you have to go and subject yourself to and what you are going to subject her to and what kind of damage you're going to leave in the wake once you dump her. What good is that? So there's a point about healthy relationships if you can kind of avoid that. But, another story I saw that came out where Bonnie Blue talks about top tips to prevent husbands from cheating based on what she learned from her experiences of the gangbang. No, we're not going to talk about that. There are other people that also talked about this as well. A former Love Island star, Olivia Atwood, also spoke about this. And she makes this point, and I will take this point here, that why are we not looking at the men? Why do we not talk about the men that buy and consume this content and queue up for these kinds of experiences? Because at the end of the day, they are people's husbands, brothers, sons, colleagues, and that is the interesting thing to turn the spotlight on, and we should pay more attention to that. That's the other problem too, ladies. Because of the delusion that you have of this feminine, independent thinking, yeah, there are some guys that are going to get lost. Okay, there are going to be guys that will have fucked up things for them. I believe that happened to me a lot of times. So I blame certain guys that had screwed things up for the girls I wanted to be with. Because it's true. How many times, guys, have you heard that where you had a girl that doesn't want to do anything with you because of the past? And then if you are like a straightforward, upstanding guy, like kind of a gentleman. I mean, yeah, some guys, they're going to want to find a way to go and get themselves off. So if they don't want to go ahead and do the depraved and debaucherous thing of finding some pay for play, okay, let's just put it like that. Whether it's a massage parlor, whether it's you find a girl that you find on a phone number, or you find on a website or whatever, however you do it, or you find them on Tinder, all these kind of things. Then guys will probably find a way to get themselves off, and online gives you more than enough to go ahead and use to find something, okay? So when the guys have no other resort, no other alternative for them because they're not interacting with any females because they feel like, well, the cupboard's bare. They can't go after any girls because they're going to be creeped out if they even try to approach. They're already afraid to go and do it in the first place. And they've kind of just been kept out of even trying to be outgoing or even decide to spend the money. They'll just go ahead and stay home and watch porn. So we're talking about this right here. Olivia makes a point. Why are these guys being subjected to go and do this? Part of the reason I have to say is that the women who are making the content, you got to blame them. And the women that are deciding not to go ahead and get with these guys. Now, they couldn't have all just had the gateway right to porn right away. It's got to be a reaction from something else. The same thing goes. If there were actually healthy relationships on both sides of the board, between both partners, male and female, we could try to avoid this. At a younger age, it's got to get dropped into a younger age so that some of the brainwashing that's being done on social media, some of the thought process is being done here on both sides. Some of that's got to get quashed. So we talk about this. So that Bonnie Blue can't make any money. But the one thing I can say for OnlyFans was the smart thing they did was at least they dropped their content. Good on them. I'm not going to say that you can't say that, oh, well, it's something about that women can't go and do some ridiculous, depraved and debaucherous things online. Oh, of course they can. Of course they can. But the thing is, you make it a little bit harder. And I close with this. I think it would just be much easier and much more meaningful if women and guys would just get back to not doing the stuff that Bonnie Blue's doing. Like, why are we going to even go into that? Like, what a waste of time. And also the part of, you don't need to go ahead and find ulterior motives. Guys shouldn't have to go to the ulterior motives of dating game to get together with a girl to hook up with, right? The whole thought process of like, all right, I got to get with a girl for the intent of sex. At the same time, I heard this as well. If you hear a guy that is saying, okay, that is going to take you out on one of those dinners you're asking for, right? Oh, you should take me out for steak and lobster, filet mignon, or, take me to a nice restaurant. You know that by doing that, you are signaling to the guy, well, I'll take you to that nice dinner, $200, $300 I'll spend on you, and what I'm going to get in return. Because they're expecting a put out. So they're having to go ahead and take that gamble, thinking you're going to, because they've already paid their entry fee to get you to go ahead and meet with them in the hotel or somewhere else and go hook up. So what is it, ladies? Let's take the value off the stuff that you're looking for, the lifestyle you're looking for. Guys and gals can be treated equally. Hook up based on love or attraction or whatever, and together be hooking up and being depraved and debaucherous.